Y'all be like, oh, Drea is disgusting. Oh, I think it's atrocious for a 40-year-old woman to be dating a 24-year-old man. No, it's not. It's literally not the same as a 40-year-old man dating a 24-year-old woman.
Everybody's asking, how old are they? We should be asking, is the relationship healthy?
I wouldn't say I'm older or younger, but I have seen the shift. I've had younger men try to talk to me, and I'm like,
Why would I waste my money on a female that's coming out of hers or has already been ran through?
You know what should be a red flag to all of us? A man in his 40s talking about wanting being with a younger woman because women his age have baggage.
With some like red flags, like
Red flag for me always if a woman had a kid.
Different, how we met, through mutual friends and everything like that. When I met my wife, she was 17. So, we had no really conversation and no really connection until, she was of age. And, it's, people don't understand it. And I got of course, I got a lot of backlash for marrying someone that was 19. And, when we did finally start to talk, I was like, this woman is like me. And she was just like, when I would talk to her, she just, for one, we had a spiritual connection. And I feel like that's the most important thing. We both love God. We both love Jehovah. And that was key. And being able to start being around her and talking to her and talking to, like, we got it. We connected through music, and, her spirit, her kindness, her heart reminds me a lot of my mom.
Houston says, women his age often come with baggage and kids. And I quote, a red flag to me was always with a woman that had a kid, he said. Nothing against single women, but single mothers with children are a red flag for me. You know what should be a red flag to all of us? A man in his 40s talking about wanting being with a younger woman because women his age have baggage. It gives very much predator and it gives very much pedophile. I saw a young lady on a podcast once talking about men who seek younger women because they're inexperienced and they don't come with as much baggage, really echoing pedophilia. And she got a lot of backlash for it, but this is a perfect example. This is his excuse for dating or marrying a young woman barely out of her teenage years that he's known since she was a teenager, and that he's groomed so he could marry her when she turned 18.
This man, see what happens, even from the energy you're giving right now, bitter. The man didn't want someone that was bitter, used. Men don't want used goods. You have to understand something. Men, they hit their financial stride in their 40s. He hit his when he was young because, of course, he was in the music industry. But this is a known thing. Even some females know it. But I'm going to let Marques Houston speak for himself.
When I grew up, I never really wanted kids. And, I would talk to my dad a lot, and he would always tell me, look, have your own kids, because you never want to have, you don't know what the baby daddy's about, so, if you're going to have kids, make sure as a woman that they never had kids before, you can have your own. So I kind of like stuck to that. So that was always my red flag. But then that's a personal choice.
right.
That was my personal red flag.
Well, here we go with personal preferences and red flags. And in this case, the red flag is that Mr. Houston say he don't want a woman with kids. Now, is he wrong? Many of us would jump to the conclusion to say, oh, yes, he is, because you can't change what happened to somebody past and they didn't have control over that. Stop right there, because yes, you did. Your choices are a direct reflection of you. So many times we as women can say that we don't want what we don't want. But as soon as a man says what he don't want, that's a red flag. Just something to think about.
Interested in me and interested in my wife, and so interested, but what can we create so what we can run with, because he doesn't give us anything, so I think that's a lot of the reason why people make up stuff too, because they just can't get it from me.
But don't part of you want to say, well, damn, at least she's black. That's a black woman I married. Like,
What I'm saying? And that's true. Like, I like all through the immature days, we would have light-skinned girls in our videos like, why can't you get a sister? Why can't you get a black girl? And then it's like, oh, y'all only like skinny girl. And it's just like, the plus size women was coming out. And I'm just like, man, I just can't catch a break. but it might be true because everybody thought I was their husband. And I'm sorry, ladies, I'm taken. And Maya got me. So I mean, if you want to be jealous, you can be jealous, but just love me. Watch the movies, watch the entertainment, just watch my life from a distance. I married a sister, and she's beautiful and smart and talented, and she's caring and loving, and she's everything that I saw myself being in a relationship with.
Right.
And when you look at a person's qualities, like I was talking to one of my friends, and I was saying, yeah, okay, I'm 41, right? She's 22. I could have married a 41-year-old woman, and it could have been disastrous. Ooh. They could have felt like, because I'll sit and talk to women, and women that are my age, and they kind of have a different outlook on life. A lot of women my age are very independent. They are very like, I don't need a man to do this for me because I could do this for myself. And I come from a generation that I'm very, very, love to provide for my wife. I love to provide for my woman. And I'm very in that generation, like the old days, I would never want to be with a woman that felt like, oh, I don't need you, or I don't, what I'm saying, like that.
And also on top of that, he's just trying to, he's telling the truth. He's being real, raw and authentic. But he didn't want to be with some old lady who's used goods, who probably can't have children. Eventually, when he comes around to it, he wants some little babies around. Hi, Daddy. Hi, Mar. Your name is Marques. Or calling him, like some kids do, but still, he wants this. Every man wants this. He wants to leave a legacy behind. And he wants somebody that's young to do it. Not somebody that's going to go through, different problems trying to have babies. Oh, then he's going through heartbreak. She's going through heartbreak because you can't.
So, and there's a lot of women my age. I've dated women my age, and, they may have baggage. They may have kids. They may have not. It's just, there's so many different women that I've dated throughout my life. And this just so happened to be the one that caught my heart.
So what was your red flags like when you dating throughout? I know you probably met like some of the most beautiful women in the world. What was some like red flags like? No, you're out. No, like a red flag. He's like, I'm done. Next. Red flag
for me always if a woman had a kid. Nothing against single women, single mothers with children. I respect them. I love them. I feel like that's one of the toughest jobs, to raise a child and to also raise a child by yourself and to be a woman. 100% tip my hat, respect to the women that are raising children on their own. But just with me, for when I grew up, I never really wanted kids.
I know how y'all like to fight, but I want the smoke. All age gap relationships are not the same, especially the ones where the woman is older than a man. Y'all be like, oh, Drea is disgusting. Oh, I think it's atrocious for a 40-year-old woman to be dating a 24-year-old man. No, it's not. It's literally not. And it's literally not the same as a 40-year-old man dating a 24-year-old woman.
It's cool when they do it. It's only when I do it.
Why is it not the same? Because women are just far less sinister. Statistically speaking, women are far less sinister than men.
What? Are you sure? You sure about that? Drea got married to a man, had a baby with the man. I'm not going to say she's being sinister, but if he did wrong, I'm sure, say, for instance, in 10 years, she wants to get divorced. You think she's not going to take the money? That's kind of sinister. That's what I'm against.
Same as a 40-year-old man dating a 24-year-old woman. Why is it not the same? Because women are just far less sinister. Statistically speaking, women are far less sinister than men.
Stop the cap.
Men of all ages are mostly after sexual gratification. If something transpires deeper than that with a woman, amazing. Wow, a miracle. Women can be after the same thing, but most of the time, they're after companionship, company, someone to connect with. Everybody and their mama got an opinion on Drea and her 20-some-year-old. Meanwhile, that man has not complained about Drea once. Not once. He actually looks like he's fully enjoying whatever relationship they have. And if he didn't have a baby with her, he was going to do it with somebody else because he did. He has a whole other baby that's the same age as Drea's
with a young bitch. Everybody acting all fake concerned. No, it's masked jealousy. Y'all are jealous of her. He's a YN with money that knows what he wants and can do whatever the he wants. And y'all mad at Drea?
Situation right here. 39-year-old Drea Michelle is pregnant by 22-year-old Jalen Green, plays basketball for the Houston Rockets. He's currently on his rookie deal. That's $40-ish million, around $10 million a year. What's convenient about the situation is that after this current season, Jalen Green will be eligible for a contract extension upwards of $25 million a year. So this is a very convenient time for the pregnancy to happen. We recently saw the same exact thing with PJ Washington and Brittany Renner. Same exact situation. Older woman, younger guy on his rookie deal. She gets pregnant, and now he has to pay a lot of money in child support to her. But I think a lot of the outrage is misplaced. I don't know much about Drea Michelle, but from what I've seen from all these videos about the situation is that people are not surprised that this thing happened. If that's the case, why are we upset at her for the situation if we're not surprised that it happened? It seems like this is something that she would do, right? So if that's the case, it seems like our anger should be pointed at this person or their parents or the people that surround him. We're also on the outside looking in. Maybe the parents were giving him advice, but he went against those words, you know? So we don't know the full situation. So in my opinion, I just don't feel like our anger is at the right place right now. In my opinion, is it still messed up? Of course. But maybe they're happy. Maybe he's head over heels in love with Drea Michelle.
I mean, we've talked about this, that often I date younger men. One of the reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner. And so often, and it's not just that I'm older, I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life.
See, to them, everything is okay. To us, it's horrible. Like, think about it. Even when it comes to teachers, right? I'm not, because that's totally wrong, what happens with that. But when a man is taken advantage of, it's seen as okay. It is, and it's a problem. If it's the same for one, it's the same for the other. But it's totally okay. I could care less, because older men usually don't want to be involved with you. As you see, that's why he dated a younger female, but
life and who lives a very full,
crazy,
just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again. I have dated men my age. There is a difference. There is an openness that occurs with a younger man around whether it's gender fluidity or not even having an issue with homosexuality. I mean, something as basic as that, that there's times where I'll be, sitting across the table from somebody and just like, what did you just say? Yeah, this is not a match. And I have long been past the age where I feel like it's my job to teach somebody or grow them up. That I'm not interested in. So, but it's interesting. I mean, there's so many different philosophies on dating. And I have come up with mine. I have come up with what works for me and what makes sense for me and what feels safe for me.
You guys are liking older women. And at 33, I think it's great. I wouldn't say I'm older or younger, but I have seen the shift. I've had younger men try to talk to me, and I'm like, the thing is, I believe that younger men are more progressive, easier on the eyes, usually, and they don't have as much trauma because how they think isn't just based in old facts and old mindsets. The thing is, as a younger guy, you also need to be more mature to date an older woman, but I think you're more open to the idea of being shaped by a woman.
that's what it is. They want to shape and mold men. Watch. Let me hear more.
By understanding you don't have it all figured out, maybe you're financially still on the way, you have some things that you're still developing, but with an older woman, you are okay with understanding that she has wisdom, she can lead, she can guide you. And
they want to lead. If they don't have children, they want mother sons. They want to be a mother son. It's kind of like having a relationship with your son. They want to take the lead. The masculinity is thriving. I mean, think about it. They finally get to flip the narrative on its head. It's happened now.
in a way that maybe a younger woman can't. But what I'm hearing is that the older women are liking this. And I spoke to my mom about it. She's the same way. She's like, she could date younger, but not too young. And I'm like, okay, I see you. I honestly believe that age is nothing but a number. And everyone has their own life experiences. They choose whether or not they want to grow and develop from those experiences. So age is just a construct of how much days you've been on this planet and what you have done with that time. So sis, if you older, you dating a younger man, enjoy it, live it up. Don't worry about what society says, because an older man dating a younger woman is a tale as old as time.
Yeah, it is. And it's understood.
Came to a realization. I get why women date older and men date younger. Because like women my age, I'm in my 20s, women my age are in their prime. Based on how society judges them, they're going to look the best they ever look. Some women age like fine wine, but that's them, right? And men, we judge them based on how much money we got. Well, most men don't make.
It's not just men. Females too. What's happened is females got the bag. So now, yes, that's on his head. But a lot of them still want that older man. And what's happened now is nowadays, a lot of men, and that's why I tell men, it's definitely important to work out, because how they say, oh, I'm feeling young. I'm 45. I feel like I can pass for my 30s. Maybe mid to late 30s, but yeah. So I say to any man out there, make sure you staying fit in the gym. So when you get with that young whippersnapper, because a lot of guys are coming over here and doing it. They're going out of the country and getting something young. Maybe they want to have fun, but they want someone they can have children with. Because a lot of guys, you see Marques Houston just did it. But a lot of guys are leaving for that because it's shamed in the West for men to do that. We're seen as creeps. That's the thing. See, for females, it's okay. For men, oh, the creepy old man. And even young girls. There's some young girls that say, oh, you know what? I think you're older men are sexy. But yeah, those young women like, oh, it's creepy, it's creepy, it's creepy. Oh, it's so old.
Make the most money they ever gonna have or be the most financially stable until like mid-30s, 40s, right? So, like, I'm a woman. Why I want to waste my prime on somebody like who's not stable, who's not mature enough to handle his money? I get it. And if I'm a man, I'm in my prime, why I want to waste my money on a female that's coming out of hers or has already been ran through because she took her prime to go X, Y, and Z, this ball player, this rapper, so I get it now. I'm gonna get him, like, you know.
And that's what men know. And I'm not hating on these females because not all females, well, nowadays all females can do it if you take care of yourself. That's one thing I will say. Drea Michelle took care of herself. I'll even say some of the ladies in this video took care of themselves. Even the other lady that was on Kevin Samuels, she took care of herself. The whole important thing I'm saying is no matter which way you look at it, you got to be fit out there.
Now, here's the question I keep asking myself. Imagine tomorrow the headline said, the 5-year-old celebrity is dating a 23-year-old man. Would social media react the same? Maybe, maybe not. But I do think it's a fair question. Sometimes older women dating younger men are celebrated. Sometimes they're criticized. Same happens with older men. The point isn't who gets judged more. My point is The standard should remain the same. My third point, we're asking the wrong questions. Here's what I think. Everybody's asking, how old are they? We should be asking, is the relationship healthy? For
Mm-hmm.
example, does he respect her? Does she respect him? Are they honest with each other? Are they helping each other grow? I think that's a fair question to ask. Those questions matter much.
Yeah, that's all that matters, really. Right? If the man loves her, respects her, and I'm sure they do. They're happy as ever. I'm looking at Scotty's face right now. That man, you see that smile? That man is happy, especially what happened to him. You guys know what happened with Larsa Pippen. She was with Michael Jordan's son. Michael Jordan didn't like it, I'm sure. Like, damn, Scotty's my boy. You go and get with my son? That's my boy. And the wild thing about that is she did it with his teammate's son. Ugh. Like she was looking at him when he was a baby. That's when she was around him. I don't want to get into that. Let's keep going.
Options. And he's saying, like, if you were a man, let's say you're 45, you're a 50-year-old man. You are basically the pinnacle of your career. You've spent all of these years. You have women in their 50s, but also in their 40s and 30s and 20s wanting you. You spent the last 20, 30 years grinding. Now you want to start a family. Are you going to try to start a family with a 50-year-old woman? Or are you going to try to start with a woman who's maybe 25 or 30, right? Or maybe even 35, whatever. But you're going to start a life with a woman that has more chance of childbearing, that has less emotional baggage, has less relationships, because now your options only increase.
Like, why is they always talking to these younger, women? Let me explain why. Usually you see this with the rappers, the ball players, they usually meet their lover in college. So it's very rare that they end up with somebody who may have a 10-year age gap or maybe a 7, 8-year age gap or fresh out of high school. Yeah. And this is not in any of those guys' defense. I just want to provide context or maybe give y'all another perspective. I think now it could be manipulation. I ain't gonna discredit none of y'all perspectives. But I think also it's because some of them have trauma. And in case some of y'all don't know, just to add context, people who experience trauma growing up, right? Or severe trauma, oftentimes their brain never moved past that stage, which leaves them stuck. That's why you meet men who 25 and 30 years old who terrorizing the whole damn neighborhood and everybody in their life because what happened to them in the 3rd grade and you don't know why. Some of y'all niggas do need to go get some help. But yeah, so
What?
when the brain don't get the help that it needs, it leads to people being stuck in one spot. So hence as to why, for an example, I'm using a rapper as an example. He may have a younger woman as a girlfriend. And guess what happens? Okay, it breaks up maybe one day. But there's a reason why she looked like she may excel or elevate or mature, and this nigga didn't. He go and get another. It can be a form of manipulation. But you have to have discernment too. You gotta really pay attention. Sometimes it's a trauma response for number one. Number two, it can also be because of the brain functionality and the brain development, which kind of go hand in hand with each other. This nigga, he can be a look, you know what I'm saying? And he may not mature. So you gotta understand, he may be 25, he may be 28, he may be 30. But he's constantly, and I'm not saying it's okay, but he's constantly talking to this because he sees he thinks that he's young. His brain is not developing. So he want to go back in time to when he was in high school or middle school, whatever the hell case. I don't even know. He could be a manipulative person too. Another thing too is going in that back door. Usually that's from trauma. Going in that back door, and then at the same time you constantly dating younger people, probably because there's something else going on around there. Now, remember, going in the back door is usually a form of trauma. Who introduced you and told you that it feel good for somebody to go in that back door?
What? This girl, what is she talking about? Going in that back door? Man, I know you thought you was cooking, but every man, older men, younger men, wants a girl 20. Older men, younger men, wants a girl that's 19. You have some older men that wants a girl that's their age. But for the most part, older men are the same as younger men. Nothing's wrong with them. It's just what he said about the baggage. Marques Houston said it for himself. He doesn't want the baggage. He doesn't want the baby mama. Save the drama for your mama. I'm going to get a girl that's not going through it, that has a fresh mindset, just like he probably has. Of course, he been with the females, had the models, had the bottles, everything. But he realized he wanted somebody with a fresh perspective because he still has a fresh perspective, and men are always going to choose the latter. And that's what he did. So it's a preference for him as well. But y'all, thank y'all for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Peace out. See you next video.